Good morning, everybody. Hey, it's Betsy with Birth in the Know with my question of the day. I don't know if you know this, but my Birth in the Know tagline is where questions are conceived and answers are born. I love to be in the question. I've been in the question my entire life, and I'm asking the questions, and some of them I'm still in. My question of today is, where is the safest place for my baby to be born? Not me per se, because I'm done having babies, but you could ask yourself, let me take my sunglasses off, where is the safest place for your baby to be born? What's your answer? I'll bet everybody has a different answer. At least I know when I ask this question in a doula training, there are many different answers. So the point is, there really is not one particular answer, right? What do you believe? Where do you think you'd feel safe? What is safety? What does it mean to you? There are a lot of variables in that question. And sadly, there are not three options for every woman in the U.S. at least, but there are three places, well, more than three places, but commonly hospital, birth center, or home. I know there's people that have their baby in the woods and have them in cars and, all kinds of places. So any place is possible. Question, where do you feel safe? You get to feel safe and supported for your labor to progress and to flow, and that has everything to do with mind, body, connection, where you're at while you're pregnant. What kind of stresses are there in your life? Are you able to manage that stress? That's really a big piece of it. So safety is really relative, and you'll have people say, home birth is the only, the safest option. Other people, the hospital, no doubt, for sure. I've had a hospital birth and a home birth, and one of the things that switched my mind or got me thinking about home birth was that this was back in the 90s, like late 90s, down in South Florida. But I was a practicing postpartum doula. I was working a lot. And the stories I was hearing about what was happening in the hospital were actually scaring me. I kept thinking, wow, I'm going to have another baby, and I do not think I want to step foot in any of these hospitals. That's what happened with me. So I had this whole thing about not feeling safe because of what I've heard or what I was hearing. So it could be what you're reading, what you're hearing, who you're speaking to, and it could just be your own sense. As I've mentioned in a previous video, there's two models of care, the medical model, the midwifery model. Now there's research, and it's been around a while, and data that clearly shows where the midwifery model of care is utilized primarily, the outcomes for mothers and babies are much better. We do have a rising maternal death rate in the U.S., and we do have a very high rate compared to other nations, and it's definitely in crisis, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And back to the question about safety. You must feel safe. Do your homework. Ask about protocol. Ask when there's interventions or when they're needed or why they're needed. So you be the chooser. Okay, you get to choose. And my whole thing, and I've been saying this over and over, I believe knowledge is power. And I believe there's a balance between information overload and, of course, where you're getting your information compared to, or in addition to, the trusting of yourself, and to really going deep and figuring out what works for you. You may have family members or friends calling you nuts because you want a home birth. Or they might be calling you crazy because you want to travel to that hospital that's 40 miles away. But that's your decision to make. That's entirely up to you. And I'm saying be informed and make an informed choice before you decide. Know what you're deciding. Hey, Pam. Oh, my gosh. So Pam Diamond, I'm going to give you a plug right now. Wow. So Pam Diamond is on with me, and Pam has her own doula service in North Carolina. Mommy days, right? You could post it. Go ahead and put it here, Pam. Pam Diamond was my very first postpartum doula client. And then I don't know how many years later, Pam started her own doula service. It always warms my heart. It's like, ah. And now, of course, our friend and colleague, Marcia Thurmer, used to work with her in North Carolina. Now she's in my neighborhood, and she's a postpartum doula trainer. And, we're all connected. It's just awesome. I love it. What's it? Mommy Day? Let me see. Oh, yeah, First Days and Nights. I'm sorry. Yeah, with the Z. My bad. Thanks, Pam. I know I get your newsletters and your information, and wow, memories. How many years ago? That was a long time ago. So 1994 is when I started my postpartum doula service in South Florida, primarily postpartum, switched over to labor. And I'm sharing what's on my heart and mind and what I know because I didn't know all this stuff. And it can be information overload, but I just want you to ask questions and know where you're getting your answers, know the resources you're going to learn about birth and pregnancy and breastfeeding. And it's not rocket science, but knowledge is important to make an informed choice. We are consumers of everything in this culture, and including consumers of the birth industry. When we become pregnant or we're about to become pregnant, it's actually a very big business in the U.S., like $50 billion or something like that. So every test, every procedure, everything, there's money to be made. I'm here to say that what's important is that mothers and babies and families are treated with dignity and respect. And you, as the pregnant or pre-pregnant woman, you get to choose everything. So you get to know what your options are, including, and one of the first choices you make is, where will I birth my baby? Notice I use birth and not deliver. You're an active participant. You get to feel all of it and be a part of it and truly stand in your power. And I believe that. I believe every woman has that opportunity. Home birth, birth center, hospital. Most women are giving birth in the hospital. And that's because historically we've kind of shifted everything over, and there was a whole, advertising campaign with that. And we've lost our village for the most part, which is why we have doulas. It's great to look at that historical perspective. I won't get into details on that. Point is, we used to all pretty much be born at home. Were there complications? Yes. Were there babies or mothers dying? Yes. Is that happening today? Yes. Perhaps to a lesser degree, but then again, when we're looking at the trends, there's something very wrong where the rich country like the United States has all these maternal deaths and complications from birth. And in fact, postpartum mood disorders, not as prevalent in other countries. Why? The lack of support. Yes, Pam, your son's going to be 24 in January, so 24 years ago I supported Pam. Wow. But yeah, so I just, I don't know. I'm just tired of seeing what I'm seeing and hearing what I'm hearing. And I'm on a couple of pregnancy groups to really figure out, where are people at and what's going on. And I just want to share what I know, and I want you to be informed. So, of course, I have a website, Birth in the Know, where I have a newsletter. If you want to get the newsletter, just check out my blog. You want to learn more about the game I created, Down the Canal, the Game of Birth, where all your questions are in a fun format so you can begin to think. I want people to want to know more about birth, question everything, challenge everything, establish your beliefs about birth, what you believe you're going to take with you to the birth. I might be making it sound easy, but my point is for you to be in charge of your care, of what you want and what you desire. You get to create that. This is Betsy with Birth in the Know with another spew of the day. And that's what I'm doing here. Impromptu, my outdoor office. It's a beautiful day in sunny Florida. It got a little bit warmer, so. And I have to put my glasses on to see what's going on with comments because these are my glasses in. Oh, hi, Mitch and Connie. Yeah, hey. Thanks for hopping on. I will speak to whoever will listen about birth in this country, in the U.S., and the crisis that we're in. And so many of my colleagues are doing amazing work and education. And I think that, I mean, I'd like to hope that this younger generation coming into the whole birthing industry is much more aware and realize that there are many options and they get to choose them all. And that's really my goal, is education, education, education. Hi, Bianca. Oh, hey, Jennifer. Hi, Megan. Thanks for hopping on, guys. Feel free to share your comments. Or, I love to not be the only one spewing here, although I know it's me on Facebook Live. Being me, this is it. Doesn't get any better than this. Where will you give birth to your baby? That is the question that we're talking about. Where do you feel the safest? Or where is the safest place? I think that was my original question. Where's the safest place for your baby to be born? And it's really relative to you and your beliefs. It all goes back to that. Our beliefs are going to create our thoughts, and we're going to bring that with us. And I have proof that thoughts become things because I created a board game, and I have to remind myself that our thoughts do become our reality. And that was an idea that became an actual manifested product. And you could do that with your birth experience. You can create it from a space of knowledge and stand in your power and make the choices that are right for you. Oh, hi, Stuart. Hey, Amy, Tammy, wow. Oh, well, nice to have a little company on here and not be by myself. I could talk forever. All about education, 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 and I share a lot of what my colleagues are up to. I created this ultimate guide to birth, and actually you could go on and get it on my website, and please give me feedback or give me your resources. It's a beginning, so it's not a complete guide, but I like to share where the good information is and what's true, because women have been sold a pack of lies about themselves, their bodies, healthcare, and everything to do with birth. And I have, maybe this is because I've always been a rebel. I've always had it in me. And it's time for me to just speak up and say what's on my mind. So that's what I'm doing. Oh, hey, Solange. Hey, Josie. Hi. Yeah, nice to have people hopping on. So I know I'm not speaking to the clouds. Although, I'll tell you what, it's nice to be outside and get refreshed, and all part of the process. Being in the question, ask the questions about birth, stand in your power, and choosing your care provider, your model of care, and where you're going to birth your baby are the most important things you can ask before you even step into any process or any system. That's the first thing you get to do. Who will be your care provider? Where will you give birth to your baby? Which model of care do they practice? The managed model of time, intervention, crisis waiting to happen, or birth is allowed to unfold and it's a normal physiological process. Having said that, if you have a medical condition, you are at risk, then probably the hospital is your safest place because we have that technology and that care if we need it. Most women do not need that, although I know that times are changing, women are giving birth later. I just read something about increases in certain diseases that contribute to what's happening in maternity care. But it's never a one-size-fits-all. That's the whole point, too, is that what's safe for you is safe for you. It's how you feel about it. Oh, hey, Jen. Thanks for hopping on. Well, Jen McClennan's a go-to person for plus-size birth. So if you have any questions or anything about that, I've got you on my resource guide, Jen. I love what you're doing. Why reinvent the wheel? I want to share the resources of the birth colleagues and birth keepers and advocates that I know, because I know that they're sharing what's accurate and they're passionate about what they're doing, like I am. And it's about educating you and you being a conscious consumer of the birth industry. Again, what's the safest place? Where's the safest place for your baby to be born? You get to decide. And you can't do that without asking questions and feeling well supported in your choices. And it doesn't matter who thinks you're nuts or it doesn't matter. None of it matters. It's what matters to you and your family and however you make your choices, from information, from, talking to whoever else is involved, whether it's your husband or partner or whatever. Oh, Barry. Hey, Renee. Well, it's nice to have some people hopping on. Feel free to share, comment, put in a resource that is great. I've got Childbirth Connection and Childbirth U and some of the main childbirth preparation methods and some of those things in the resource guide that you can get from my website. But I definitely want to add some more, and I want you to be in the question. And sometimes the answer involves maybe Googling or asking a friend or someone who's given birth, but at the same time, just know what information you're getting when you ask the question and you find an answer out there. Some of it is right here, going within, checking in with yourself and where you're at. Start where you're at. Start where you're at. Truth be told, no more lies. Figure out, is it a myth? Is it true? Is it a lie? What else do I need to know, and where am I going to find it? And then once you're in that space and you know what you want, it's going for it and setting yourself up here, because your body already knows what to do. Yeah, your body already knows. So we want to prepare with some knowledge. Then we want to turn off that part of our brain and step into it and be preparing how to relieve stress too throughout the pregnancy. I know Tracy Donegan gave a great talk I get to finish listening to on Gold Learning, Gold Perinatal Conference. And Tracy has done a beautiful job at sharing about mindfulness, and it's all about that preparation for what's coming and being able to alleviate stress. And one of the stresses is figuring out where you're going to birth your baby, but it doesn't have to be stressful. Come from a space of knowledge, because knowledge is power. All right, I think I've blabbed enough today. It's Betsy with Birth in the Know. You can go to my website for more info, check out what else I'm up to, share this with people that are pregnant or pre-pregnant. I want you to know that's an important decision about where you give birth, particularly since your hospital matters. If you're giving birth in the hospital, the cesarean rates vary so much, so you really want to look into that. And perhaps you want to look into the other options. If you are low risk and healthy, home, birth center, check it out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. It's Betsy with Birth in the Know, where questions are conceived and answers are born. Go have a beautiful day. Ask away and be open for the answers and be guided to where you'll find them. All right, enough for now. On to my next adventure of the day. Thanks. Bye.